Jessica, just first off, I don't mean to offend if I come across that way, but I have to be honest that we really should be trying to promote the nerds of the world into politics and not people that look best on a poster. All this imagery, posters that say change, etc. It's when you again when you're following someone who's actually been walking that walk, and then you see someone slap up a poster because it's a good selling point, you get really frustrated, or at least I do. But my intention is not to lash out, it's not to be angry, it's not to stifle anything you have to say, Jessica. I'm trying to articulate where I'm coming from, and at the same time make sure you understand that it's not in direct opposition to you personally.
I was just basically, I guess, where you come from in your frustration, I'm coming from in mine, and again, not directed at anybody or you at all. Really just trying to get people's views of what's going on in the present state and trying to kind of align myself with that. From my past and what I've learned in my past, and you said something about, about the past and taking that into our future. Trying not to do that, really. It's been kind of a big eye-opener for me, and, your ideas that you've shared about voting with your conscience and not with the numbers, kind of hit me directly. So I wanted to thank you for that, and please don't think that you've offended me in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, that's reassuring. And I would also state that the place you're coming from right now, this confused place where you're trying to reestablish what you think to be truth in politics, is a beautiful place, because it's also the place where we arrive before we really, I believe, before we have our spiritual awakening in life. And that's the things that have been presented to us that we subscribe to no longer apply, so we're left confused. That's the place where you get to when you say there's more to life than this, where it's your springboard. This confusion you're feeling right now politically is your springboard. And things are going to start to become more and more clear to you as time goes on, and I think that's beautiful. There are 4 main types of vote counting systems in the world. So there's manual, there's electromechanical and optical scan, which is not a total recall, futuristic thing. It's like is used for take tests in school and you mark a little black dot and the machine scans that. Then there's direct recording mechanical. We, the voters, select switches or chips or punch through holes. And then there's direct recording electronic, which is what you're referencing there with like black box voting, DBT, etc. There were a lot of reasons given why people chose to vote or not to vote. One of the reasons why people say they do vote is if people don't vote, then they have no right to complain or have an opinion. I disagree with that entirely. I think that you always have the right to complain. If you're not trying to look at things realistically, then you're not going to have reasons to complain. But if you are looking at things realistically in our world today, then you're going to have grievances. And it doesn't mean that's all that exists. There's plenty of beauty that exists in our world. But to be realistic, there are serious problems. And if you don't choose to participate in a system that you think is automatically flawed from the start, I can't fault you for that. And I think you have every reason to bitch. Another thing about the vote is something that crossed my mind at some point, and that is that you should have to take a test to vote. Are some people too uninformed to vote? And inevitably I rested with democracy needs all voices, even the worst voices. We need all of our voices heard, or else it's not a true democracy. There has actually been a little bit written on, are some people too uninformed to vote? I'll put up a couple of links here for you guys. There was one that was, the title is, we test immigrants before they can go to the polls. Why not everyone else? And basically iterating that, you need to pass a test to get your license. You need to pass certain tests to do certain things. But why not with voting? So I thought that's worth checking out. Another one was about young people. A lot of them thinking that they were too uninformed. I don't want a doctor to operate on me if he hasn't gone to med school. I understand the thought process behind that. And then another article was, are Americans too ignorant, uninformed, and ideological to be able to vote rationally?
But you know what? Look, it's our fault. It's our fault that Bush is in office. It is. The reason he got as many votes as he did was because basically Americans can be very stupid, greedy and short-sighted. People actually vote in this country on one issue. What? He wants to take my gun away? I don't got to listen to anything else. Fuck it. He's out. I don't give a goddamn. You can do whatever he wants for 4 years. Just don't take my gun away. What? You're a fucking asshole and you shouldn't vote. You shouldn't vote. You shouldn't have the right to vote. Well, you know, people vote and they don't inform themselves and they're willfully ignorant in this country. They don't want to know. I don't want it. Bill O'Reilly said, and that's good enough for me, you know. And the reason he got as many votes is, one, because people were stupid enough not to necessarily to vote for him, but vote against the guy who was just in office, who's not even running anymore. They hated Clinton so much they voted against Gore. McCain. And that's stupid. And then the other reason is because of the fucking tax cut. That awesome tax cut that worked out so well, didn't it? Everybody's going to get a check. $300. $300. Oh, boy. You're saying if I give you my vote, then for 4 years you can do whatever you want, roll back any fucking law you want, appoint any judicial, federal judge, Supreme Court judge, anybody you want, fucking change all laws in the land. You can do whatever you want for 4 years. But I'm gonna get a check for $300 once. Okay, that's fine, man. I could use that $300. I surely could. I could use it. My family could use it. My neighbors could use it. Our whole town could use it. But what about your rich friends? What about all them millionaire, billionaire friends of yours? They're not going to get any of our money, right? They don't get any money back, do they? Well, no, they actually get millions and millions of dollars back. But I still get my $300. All right, you got my vote, man. Okay. I'm going to buy me a hammock. Hey, wing, ding, doodly, ding, ding, doo. I'm a dumb motherfucker. And I vote. Woo. That should be a bumper sticker. I'm an ignorant motherfucker. Who just watches network news. Just watches network news. And I vote. Hey, wing, ding, doodly, ding, 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 ding.
Somewhere out there, there's a piece of paper so valuable that someone will kill you for it. Somewhere out there, there's proof that you're only what you own. And somewhere out there, there's complaints about the aisles we have to think down. Cash only, please. You got yourself a blue light special. You got yourself a blue light special. You raced through the sales rack, you saved some bills, and then you drove home in your white minivan. And matched the white picket fence, you know you just hide behind. Then one day you die, and your gravestone matches the guy's right next to yours. You got yourself a blue light special. You got yourself a blue light special. So valuable that someone will kill you for it.
Are there people that are too uninformed to vote? Should we make that a test you have to pass, or is that leaning too far in the wrong direction?
Well, I think that might be leaning too far in the wrong direction. When you brought up the vote with your conscience, I don't really know how that can fit in. Being informed or educated on things, it has much to do with your conscience and listening to somebody, a candidate for any office you're voting into, listening to that person and feeling with your conscience and your heart how you're going to vote on that person. What is it we're actually going to be educated on as far as voting is concerned? Are we going to be educated on the branches of government? Are we going to be educated on that person's individual or the candidate's individual politics and how that plays into our government tree.